So I'm being asked a lot about uppotting the cuttings. Many of you that have started cuttings already are getting ready to uppot them, and you want to know when is the right time. So if you take a look here, I'm going to bring it closer. You could see the roots are very well developed. You could see these, all this down here and at the bottom. And you can even actually wait just a little bit longer if you like, maybe another, I don't know, 3, 4 days or a week. Um, but I'm going to do this right now because many people are curious and they want to get their stuff up potted. So get yourself a container. I like to put some leaves at the bottom just to kind of block the holes so that when you fill it with the soil doesn't leak out from the bottom. And here I'm using a bag as well. I fill the soil almost to the top. And let's go inside and get started. All right, so this is how I up pot, okay? I would bring a pot not too much bigger. I don't go too big because when you go too big, what happens is you start watering and the water starts settling outside. And this guy is way too small to suck up all that water. So the water just sits there and you get rot and all kinds of bad things going on in your soil. So you want to keep your pot relative to the size of your cutting. This way you don't have excessive moisture in there and root rot. So again, what I do is I get a pot, I put a little bit of soil in it. I may have put a little too much here. And what I try to do to reduce the shock of uppotting is I kind of make a mold for the cutting. I make a mold, and let me get a little bit of soil out of there. Okay. All right. Just enough to get it in there. I kind of press the soil on the sides. I wet it a little bit so it's kind of a little bit sticky. I press it on the sides, and then I keep measuring here until I get pretty much my cutting fitting in properly. All right, that should be good. Okay. So then what I do is I put all the soil back in. And I kind of press it to kind of make a mold in the in the pot where this guy's going. All right, now I didn't do too great of a job of keeping it straight. Normally you wanna keep it straight, but it's okay because right now this is just a very temporary uh, situation because once the spring hits and things start growing, you probably want to up pot this again. And again, when you up pot in the spring, I wouldn't go too big. Again, I'd maybe move up to maybe a 3 or 4 gallon. Right now, this is probably a 1 gallon. So I got this going on. And I'm going to press a little bit here. Okay. Good. All right. And now that I got that and I got it all pressed and whatnot, I have my mold. I grab the bag from the sides and I pull up. Maybe my soil needed to be a little bit more wet, but you'll get the idea anyways. so I got my mold going on now. So now what I want to do is I want to cut the bottom of this bag. Okay, the other thing I should mention too is your soil needs to be dry. When you start doing this, your soil can't be too wet. It should be fairly dry. All right, so since I got roots at the bottom here and I don't want to damage the roots, I can just push it up ever so slightly. Without damaging the roots. And then what you want to do is, if you have a nice pair of scissors, you want to cut the bottom of the bag just so you can get in. And being careful not to damage the roots. Okay. And then make your opening at the bottom. Loosen it up as much as you can without spilling it out. Alright, and then I get my cutting back into the mold that was already made for it. Okay? And then this is the tricky part here. What you do now is you can water it. Is a little bit tougher than I thought. This way I don't have the leaves bothering me. A lot of times I can actually get away without having to cut from the top, but here the leaves were so big they got in my way. So, oh well. But there you have it. Okay, we up-potted with minimal shock, and you can see here you got a little ring empty, so don't be afraid to fill that in. And also don't be afraid to get the soil a little bit higher than what it was before. So you don't have to stay with the soil line like you do with many other types of plants and cuttings. With figs, you can always go a little bit higher. And actually some say it's better to go a little bit higher. So. And then a good watering all around, just to fill in any gaps or air pockets, and you're good. And there you have it. so now that you're all done, what you want to do is you want to make sure you do not put this thing in direct sunlight, because no matter how much you try to reduce the transplant shock, there's still going to be a little bit of shock as it grows into the new soil and the roots begin feeling that things have changed a little bit. So you just want to keep it in the shade for a few days, and then you can gradually begin introducing it to the sun. And here it is on day 2, doing good. And here it is on day 3, still doing great. And might be, no, soil is still good. So no water necessary yet. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and leave me any comments if you have any questions.